Hey, what's up, Enderheads? Enderkate4 here with a classic creepypasta, The Rake. This one's also been requested quite a bit, so let's get to it. Three years ago, I had just returned from a trip to Niagara Falls with my family for the 4th of July. We were all very exhausted after a long day of driving, so my husband and I put the kids right to bed and called it a night. At about 4 a.m., I woke up thinking my husband had gotten up to use the restroom. I accidentally woke him, so I apologized and told him I thought he got out of bed. When he turned to face me, he gasped and pulled his feet up from the end of the bed. Then he grabbed me and said nothing. After adjusting to the dark for about half a second, I was able to see what caused the strange reaction. At the foot of the bed, sitting and facing away from us, there was what appeared to be a naked man, or a large, hairless dog of some sort. Its body position was disturbing and unnatural, as if it had been hit by a car or something. For some reason, I wasn't instantly frightened by it, but more concerned as to its condition. At this point, I was somewhat under the assumption that we were supposed to help him. My husband was peering over his arm and knee, tucked into the fetal position, occasionally glancing at me before returning to the creature. Suddenly, the creature scrambled around the side of the bed and then crawled quickly in a flailing sort of motion, right along the bed until it was less than a foot from my husband's face. It was completely silent for about 30 seconds, just looking at my husband. The creature then placed its hand on his knee and then ran into the hallway, leading into the kids' rooms. I screamed and ran for the light switch, planning to stop him before he hurt my children. When I got to the hallway, the light from the bedroom was enough to see it crouching and hunched over about 20 feet away. He turned around and looked directly at me, covered in blood. I flipped the switch on the wall and saw my daughter Clara. The creature ran down the stairs while my husband and I rushed to help our daughter. She was very badly injured and spoke only once more in her short life. She said, "He is the Rake." My husband drove his car into a lake that night while rushing our daughter to the hospital. He didn't survive. Being in a small town, news got around pretty quickly. The police were helpful at first, and the local newspaper took a lot of interest in it as well. However, the story was never published, and the local television never followed up either. For several months, my son Justin and I stayed in a hotel near my parents' house. After we decided to return home, I began looking for answers myself. I eventually located a man in the next town over who had a similar story. We got in contact and began talking about our experiences. He knew of 2 other people in New York who had seen the creature we now refer to as the Rake. It took the 4 of us about 2 solid years of hunting on the internet and writing letters to come up with a small collection of what we believed to be accounts of the Rake. One journal had an entry involving the creature in its first 3 pages, but never mentioned it again. There were, however, many instances where the creature's visit was one of a series of visits with the same person. This led us to wonder if the Rake had visited any of us before our last encounter. I set up a digital recorder near my bed and left it running all night, every night, for 2 weeks. I would tediously scan through the sounds of me rolling around in my bed each day when I woke up. By the end of the 2nd week, I was quite used to the occasional sound of sleep while blurring through the recording at 8 times the normal speed. This still took almost an hour every day. On the first day of the 3rd week, I thought I heard something different. What I found was a shrill voice. It was the Rake. I can't listen to it long enough to even begin to transcribe it. I haven't let anyone listen to it yet. All I know is that I've heard it before, and I now believe that it spoke when it was sitting in front of my husband. I don't remember hearing anything at the time, but for some reason, the voice on my recorder immediately brings me back to that moment. The thoughts that must have gone through my daughter's head make me very upset. I haven't seen the Rake since he ruined my life, but I know that he's been in my room while I slept. I know in fear that one night I'll wake up to see him staring at me. Alright, and that's it for this creepypasta. That was The Rake. Pretty good creepypasta. It's a classic. Makes you wonder what's watching you when you sleep. So, let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. Like, favorite, share, subscribe, tell your friends. Suggest other creepypastas in the comments below. And I'll see you next time, Enderheads. Keep creeping.